I was a teacher at the time that I heard that Beware was looking for artists for apparel design. I was a part-time teacher and I was looking for other part-time work. Actually, a bus driver is the one that kind of recommended, said, hey, I think 5Bs is looking for an artist. I said, okay. I came right out here after school one day when I was teaching, and I talked to the owner, and we hit it off, you know, and I showed some artwork. I wasn't really into digital art, which this job requires, but I started out at a bronze foundry and a sculpture gallery. I was kind of an assistant to a really well-known artist around these parts in Zanesville. I helped sculpting. I did a lot of casting of bronze statues and monuments, stuff like that. And I'd say that's more of a traditional art, but I loved it back then. I still kind of do it today, a lot of sculpture. But they liked my portfolio. I had a lot of traditional artwork, and they were really patient with me because you know, they liked my artwork, but you know, I had to learn the digital side of everything, and it's just been a good relationship because we've all both been patient, you know, just let me develop my skills on that side of things, and it worked out beautifully. What drew me to apparel art design, I would say, is just kind of the limitlessness of it. It can be, you know, you got certain colors that you can use on certain backgrounds, certain colors, and it's just kind of cool to see some people walking around different stores when, you know, you're like, hey, that's my shirt that I designed. At a young age is when I started doing a lot of creative type stuff. I started drawing, kind of writing my own books, things like that, and illustrating those books. I thought it was fun. That's like 4 or 5 years old. I was an 80s kid, so growing up early on, we only had one channel, and I loved cartoons, so I had to wait all week for Saturday morning cartoons. It was just like the best days to wake up on Saturday morning and watch cartoons, your favorite cartoons. But during the week, I didn't have any cartoons, so I would draw. I'd try to draw them and make my own comics, things like that. So I started getting a lot more recognition around 9, 10 years old for artwork. I started noticing that my teachers kept a lot of my artwork and they hang it up behind their desks. Won a few art contests. I was even in Michael Jordan magazine for something I sent in. It was like a fan club magazine. I have some of my artwork in there. I was like, oh wow, I might be pretty good at this. And I said, well, maybe it's something I can pursue. I just kept kind of just sticking with it. I like to get really loose first. You know, I like to do a lot of just sketching, a lot of quick sketching. I have a sketchbook just filled with nonsense, but you know, it's just something that helps me get warmed up, and then the ideas just kind of flow from there. Just developmentally, just build upon things, make a lot of mistakes, and just, you know, stick with the mistakes that you can live with, and that's just kind of how the artwork comes. And then it gets more fun as you build upon it, and then everything gets a little bit more tightened up, and then it looks more polished as you just keep doing that. So. I like to do, like what they ask me to do, a hunting design or a nature design. You know, I kind of take that as something I can do that's more realistic rather than illustrative, and I kind of like to do a more realistic approach to the artwork. I know it's a challenge and it's more time consuming, but it's usually a really nice payoff. Of course, like this, I like a lot of the classic art. I like the Renaissance painters and sculptors, things like that. I just don't think you can get much better than that. A lot of inspiration from that. More modern people, I'd say Ivan Earl is one that inspires me, especially for this medium. He's a 1950s background painter for Disney, actually. He's done some movies like Sleeping Beauty, you may remember. Just visually, the background painting for that stuff was great, and it's inspirational. It's just a stylistic way of creating certain elements, like trees. His trees are so different, and you know, I like that type of look, especially for apparel design. I think it can translate well, even though it's a more modern take on traditional mediums. It actually transfers to this type of apparel design quite well. What do I do when I'm away from work? Well, I have 3 kids. 4-month-old little girl right now, so she keeps me pretty busy, but the kids are into sports. My son plays football and my daughter plays basketball. She's into a lot of tournaments at the moment, so about every weekend I'm driving around to these basketball tournaments and you know, cheering her on.